Thank the gentleman. I recognize the gentlelady from Pennsylvania, Ms. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Job Corps is the largest residential workforce development program for young people in the country. They accept low-income 16 to 24-year-olds who are disconnected from education and the workforce, and they give them housing and health care, educational support, career guidance, and skilled job training. For the young people they serve, Job Corps is transformational, and it leads to good jobs in critical fields like healthcare and manufacturing. Madam Secretary, as you know, the Pittsburgh Job Corps is centered in my district, so I can't understand why you decided to close the center, but given the trajectory of this administration, I can't say I'm surprised. We have 66 homeless teens and young adults living at our residential center, and your department wanted to kick them back out onto the streets with only a week's notice. It took a judge's order to stop you. Besides the plain cruelty of these actions, our Job Corps in Pittsburgh was incredibly successful. Last program year, Pittsburgh Job Corps had the highest average student credential attainment rate in the country. 83% of our students left with a high-skilled job credential and an 81% job placement rate. It's despicable that so many successful Job Corps centers were closed based on a now discredited DOGE report that is rife with false and extremely misleading data. So I want to spend some time going through why this report is just flat out wrong. Keep it in mind that your team sent this report out last week when DOL announced you're closing our Job Corps centers. And I'd like only just yes or no questions. So Secretary Chavez-DeRemer, my colleague Ms. Bonamici already established that you worked together with DOGE, including in creating this so-called Job Corps transparency report. In the DOGE report, it claims that the average cost per graduate is $155,000. So yes or no, were you aware of that in 2020? Pre-DOGE, the Trump administration found Job Corps' cost per graduate to be $57,000, and the cost per enrollee was $34,000 during the program year in 2017 and 2018?
Thank you, Congressman. I'm sorry.
Just yes or no?
We don't know each other, and that
it's okay. Just yes or no?
And that you weren't here for some of my previous
Secretary, because you were here, I know that we have a really tight time crunch, and we want to get in a couple things. So I appreciate the pleasantries, but just yes or no. Were you aware? And we can talk after.
Yeah, for sure. I do want to be clear that I did not eliminate Job Corps.
So no. Okay. Listen. Yes or no. Okay. Reclaiming my time. Thank you. So to be clear here, the reason for this difference, other than DOGE's ineptitude, is enrollment in Job Corps. It was at its maximum level in those program years. With flat funding and forced COVID-19 shutdowns, enrollment went down, so the cost per student went up. It's basic math. Madam Secretary, this is just yes or no. Are you aware that Job Corps isn't a typical job training program, that part of its mission is to provide residential living and health care to many of the youth who are homeless or transitioning out from foster care? Yes or no?
Congresswoman,
yes or no?
Congresswoman, under the temporary restraining order that was issued yesterday.
This is a yes or no. Are you saying that you are refusing to answer? We've already established that you are able to answer questions about this. So if you are choosing not to, you can say that, but it's yes or no, or I'm choosing to ignore your request, or I'm choosing to admit that I don't know the answer, which is also okay.
Congresswoman, under the TRO.
So no, you're refusing to answer.
I will comply with the law.
You're not complying with the law, actually. I think there is no legal necessity for you to refuse to answer our questions.
The Department of Labor has the delegation to
Thank you. So you are admitting that you do not know the answer.
Program operations of the Job Corps sites. And
reclaiming my time. Respectfully, reclaiming my time. You're either going to answer or you're not, but you don't have to waste any more of our time. So knowing Job Corps provides housing for its participants, basic math would dictate that the program is going to cost more per participant than other WIA programs. I'll answer for you, yes. The DOGE report also states that the average annual earnings for a graduate was $16,695. This number was derived by multiplying the median second quarter earnings by 4. I don't know, you're not going to answer whether you are aware that this is a false approach to calculate earnings, because that outcome measure doesn't differentiate someone who got a job in the middle of the quarter or got a raise later in the quarter. So I will tell you that it is bad math. This means that your DOGE report always undercounts earnings when aggregated at the national level. I will assume that you are not aware of that. Thank you for answering. If you had relied on the experience career staff at DOL instead of the inexperienced DOGE staffers. This error wouldn't have occurred. A better outcome measure is the average starting wage for a graduate in the program year 2023, the same year the DOGE report is using, which was $17.13 an hour, more than twice the federal minimum wage. I had more questions, and you successfully weren't going to answer them anyways, but I do appreciate your time, and I hope that in the future you'll be a bit more transparent. Thank you. I yield back.
The gentlelady's
Don't
time has
appreciate my
expired.
time. Very disrespectful and very rude from a former colleague.
The
No,
gentlelady's
no,
time has expired.
Mr. Chair, her interrupting me repeatedly was disrespectful. She knows that as a former member of Congress,
gentlelady's
that our
time
time
has
is precious, and you are allowing
take
her
that
and
like-
allowed her to. So I just wanted to respond to that disrespectful
Gentle-
comment because I don't appreciate it.